time for a Shui Media podcast.
Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed in the show do not necessarily reflect those of Shui Media or any subsidiaries. The program may contain strong language not suitable for young audiences. Serious discussions will contain spoilers. Listener discretion is advised. Enjoy the show! Welcome to Dutch Refuge. I'm Luna.
I'm Matt. And joining us again for this week, month's, whatever's episode is...
Do I say my name? Oh,
yes.
I'm Carlo Navas.
Yes,
I'm Subtitled Anime. I have a YouTube channel. I also have a podcast. It's on iTunes. I believe we're on Spotify. But yeah, you can check out my YouTube channel. My Twitter account, at Subtitled Anime. We're here to talk anime. Have fun.
Woo!
If you may or may not have noticed, we are on a somewhat normal recording schedule.
I know, it's
I
weird.
probably shouldn't have said that, because now I've jinxed it.
People don't realize how difficult that is. Like, I think people think having a podcast is easy, but I think carving out, especially when you have a co-host that you have to work with, I think carving out the time to do it and to keep it going for as long as you guys have is really, really impressive. Having done it myself, I know that my anime podcast is all over the place, but so I know how difficult it is to actually schedule recordings and do it, even if it's just talking about something you love.
Not to deflect the compliment, but there were some long periods where we didn't record anything.
Man.
So
But you guys have kept it going. You guys have kept strong, and I think that's really great. Like, the hardest thing to do for a podcast is to keep it going, and you guys have done that, and you guys should really applaud yourselves.
Yay, go us. So a couple things. A bunch of movies just recently came out, so we're going to talk a little bit about those. Oh my god. And then we'll actually get into the show we're going to talk about. But first, movies. Yay, movies.
Yay.
So all three of us saw Heroes Rising, which is the My Hero Academia movie. Holy shit balls. It's pretty much all I can say.
that was one hell of a wild ride. Like, it made One Piece Stampede look like My Neighbor Totoro. Like, in terms of just high octane, crazy, batshit stuff that went on.
Like, my theater was completely sold out. Like, I think I got one of, like, the last three slots.
Yeah, you were telling me that. And I was kind of disappointed that
it was nuts.
Mine was not. Mine was like 50% full. And
wow.
Mine even less so. It was...
Wow.
I would say maybe 30%. There were maybe... I want to say that there were maybe about 20 to 30 people in my screening.
Mine
Wow.
performed better. I mean, I try to go to as many movies as I can. I think it did about what Weathering Into You did. The first Hiraka movie I went to, the one from a couple of years ago, that one was really, really packed. This one, not so much.
I think that one was. I think my theater was a little more crowded when I went to see that one too. Now that
this one was not promoted as well, and I think Funimation kind of has a trend of not doing a great job recently in promoting their films.
Oh, really?
Like
because
Violet Evergarden was one that people didn't even know was showing. With how little promotion they did.
That one was also surprisingly pretty full.
It must be nice to be in San Antonio. You know what I mean?
I know. Well,
yeah, I mean, like, Northern Burbs of Chicago anime's big here, but not, like, publicly big, so...
Okay, well, however, I did have to drive, like, a little over half an hour.
A whole
like,
half hour? Oh my god!
Oh my god, the humanity. Oh my god.
Not as bad, definitely not as bad as when I saw, Night is Short, Walk On Girl.
Luna, I had to drive 30 minutes directly from work to my theater, and oh my god, it was like the worst ever. Not really.
Okay, well, fuck you. And no, I'm just kidding.
Listen, I drive an hour to work. Half hour's cake.
Yeah. Half hour is roughly my commute to work, so it's nothing.
Basically, I had to drive out to... So, for those of you in San Antonio who actually know what I'm talking about, I live right off of Austin Highway, and
Is that near the Riverwalk?
or like in that, like in that general area. I had to drive out towards SeaWorld, which is
okay, I know exactly where that
way
is.
the hell out on like, I think it's like way off of like I-10. It's going in the complete opposite direction. But yeah, it's it was at this it's like kind of like a brand new thing. It's like it was at a Santikos Casablanca, and which is like one of those really like fancy theaters that has like an arcade and like bowling, and you can order food and stuff, and they have like those really fancy seats. It was huge, but like they were like blasting music in like the lobby, and I could still hear it from in the theater, and like that was really frustrating because like just like I'm trying to watch this movie and I'm like hearing all this really bad pop music. But anyway, so
a
yeah,
testament to the necessity of soundproofing.
Seriously, like you would think, but oh well. Luckily for Hiroaka, though, I only had to drive like 15 minutes, which was really great. I was really surprised. I was thinking I would have to drive kind of far. Because Funimation's just not as good at like getting locations, whereas like G-Kids just nails it.
Very true.
Anyway.
Funimation's been pretty... There's a theater... My regular movie theater has been pretty good about like picking up the Funimation and special event stuff. I think they're with Fathom. That might be why. But yeah, like it was my normal movie theater that's usually like 15-20 minutes from my house, and so then but like going directly there from work from like 6 in the afternoon, 30-minute drive. So, but yeah, it was. Yeah, my theater has been pretty reliable about getting anime movies shown.
I've gotten every movie I've wanted except for Liz and the Bluebird. That's the only movie I...
Yeah, same.
Yeah, but I got to see that at Anime Expo, so it wasn't like that big a deal for me. But other than that, I think every single movie I've wanted to watch has come to Miami. So
I
wanted to see Violet Evergarden, but it was only showing in one theater in the entire state, and it was like easily a 1 hour drive one way. It was like way the hell down in Chicago somewhere. I forget where exactly, but it would be a schlep, and I could not have made it from work without leaving early.
Yeah, I mean, but I think I was talking to a good friend of mine under the scope who has a YouTube channel. We were talking about why we think...
Shout out to Jack.
Jack's a homie. We think that the reason why it was such a limited release is because Netflix is gonna have the movie, I think, really soon. I don't remember when.
In April. I just sent Matt the link to it. I think it's like April.
So, I imagine the limited
honestly,
release had to do with Netflix kind of wanting that limited release because they still, I think, technically own the rights to the show.
April 2nd. Yeah, I think they do.
Honestly, I was surprised that, one, it got a theatrical release at all, considering Netflix owns it, and two, that Funimation, of all companies, was involved in the promotion, since they have zero connection to the show otherwise.
They don't really do a lot of KyoAni stuff either, which kind of surprised me.
I'm hoping, and this is
Their most recent KyoAni was what, Hyoka?
Maid Dragon.
I
guess, yeah, maybe recently.
Yeah, Hyoka came after...
They got licensed around the same time.
They licensed Nichijou, so maybe I'm wrong here. Because Pony Canyon usually does a lot of KyoAni releases, but yeah, I guess lately Sentai has Beyond the Boundary. So yeah, no, I guess recently they've really nailed down that KyoAni market.
I mean, again, like this is a total
rescue licenses.
A total long shot, but maybe this means they'll do a home release.
For what? For Violet Evergarden?
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Netflix doesn't do that. Come on, we know that. Devilman hasn't gotten one yet.
The last one I think the last one they did was Seven Deadly Sins.
Seven Deadly Sins. And Funimation was the distributor.
Yeah.
Okay, then maybe that might be the...
Yeah, that Seven Deadly Sins is like that home video release is like the one thing that gives people that one like single tiny shard of hope that their favorite show from Netflix might get a release, whether it's Kagaster or Violet Evergarden or anything. I was about to say sells at work, but that has a video release.
It does. Thank you, Aniplex. God, it's so expensive. I pre-ordered it.
My last Aniplex purchase was Your Lie in April, and I was not making a whole mess back then. I'm still not, but I was I was near destitute back then. I
finally just got the last 2 Blu-rays for March Comes In Like a Lion.
Oh, that's lucky. That's a really nice one.
God, they were so fucking expensive. I went a little overboard a little while ago and bought a whole bunch of shit. But anyway, we're getting.
Here's why it's hard for me to buy like Aniplex stuff, because I need to either buy it like in the part one, like in the parts as it comes out, like season 1, part 1 of whatever, or
they always split it up, and because they model it after the Japanese releases, and that's how the Japanese releases are. It's like 6 episodes a disc, but it comes with a bunch of shit. But it's ridiculous because they're like $40 a pop. So like the whole show could be like $100 or more.
I cannot buy just part of a show when the other part exists. I just like have this compulsion to buy them at the same time. The one time I did that was for Erased, and it just drove me crazy for the 3 months between when I bought part 1 and when I had enough saved up for part 2.
Surprisingly, Occultic 9, they only split it up into like 2 discs instead of 4. But anyway, so back to the movies. I saw Violet Evergarden, Weathering with You, Ride Your Wave, and Heroes Rising.
I saw all of those as well.
I just saw Heroes Rising. I didn't have no one. Weathering with You wasn't anywhere near me. I should have wanted to see it more. I do want to see it. I just didn't want to that badly at the time.
You didn't miss too much
for whatever reason.
Holy shit, is all I can say.
Did you like it?
I was a sobbing, heaping mess by the end.
Yeah, I wasn't really that into it. I thought it was Shinkai, but not like.
Okay, so on the one hand,
it is Shinkai.
The what?
It is.
It's very, very Shinkai, but like he also tapped into like the annoying parts of Shinkai.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like he has made literally the same movie like 4 times over.
So there's not a whole mess of difference fundamentally between Weathering and Your Name.
It's not as good as Your Name. I think it looks a
couple of subtle differences.
It looks great. Like I think it's the best depiction of Tokyo I've seen in anime. I think that just it's so alive and it's wonderful. Like the way that he sees that he animates and brings Tokyo to life is pretty extraordinary. That to me was the big takeaway. I did enjoy the first part of the movie a lot. I think the back end is kind of where it loses itself.
It gets really dark. It got a lot darker than Your Name, I think.
Did it? I don't know about that. I mean, Your Name had the destruction of a whole.
But like, this is something because it centers around climate change.
Yeah, but he said it wasn't about climate change. Shinkai.
He did say it was about climate change. He literally says that in the Q&A.
I thought he said he didn't.
No, I'm pretty sure he said he did because he purposefully he purposefully depicted the weather as something aggressive because it's becoming more apparent.
Yeah, I mean, if he did mention that makes kind of the themes and the way that they depict it a little worse because there's some climate change denialism in there. Partly why I didn't like it.
Then again, have you seen like Japan during typhoon season? That weather is aggressive. I think that's why he made the
movie, though, was to get people's attention and be like
about climate change denial, because that's a lot of the movie. It's like we can't control this.
But then it's like
so it's basically an anime version of An Inconvenient Truth.
Yeah, basically. Well, that or The Day After Tomorrow, but way more teen-angsty.
I mean, there's characters that literally use climate denial rhetoric that are meant to he held up to have an impact on the characters. One shrine person in particular said, "We don't know how the weather used to be like thousands of years ago. This is just a cycle," which is what people say about the Earth warming. That's what Republicans. Yeah, you know what I mean. So it's like it's a couple things like that make you uncomfortable, and it's just another woman says, "Oh, look, the world, something happens to the setting that they're in," and the lady goes, we reverted back to the way we were before," and I'm like, "No, that's not how this works, lady."
It does not happen that quickly.
I mean, I to Luna's point, I think that like the emotional core of the movie is really nice and special, and the character, particularly Hina, I really enjoyed, and her the best girl, I forget her name, the very pretty senpai,
the niece,
the niece of the newspaper.
I loved her.
Yeah, she was great. She was the best. She was the best character. It did feel like part of the movie was felt very visual novel-y of man comes save girl. I had a good time at the movie though. Like I enjoyed my 2 hours with it. I probably wouldn't rewatch it. I didn't cry, but I had a good time. I did have critique of it though.
Well, I cried, but anyway.
You did.
But actually, the movie that really, really made me cry was Ride Your Wave.
That didn't make me cry either. Did Violet Evergarden make you cry?
Fuck you unfeeling...
I sobbed aggressively during Violet Evergarden, and I didn't during Ride Your Wave. But my friend did, who I saw it with. And he thought it was... I cried for everything, which kind of was surprising.
Yeah, Violet Evergarden, the show at least, wrecked me emotionally, and I imagine the movie
we'll get to the movie in a second. Yeah, for sure.
Ride Your Wave was actually my favorite Yuasa work, and I'm not a big Yuasa fan. I don't really like any Yuasa work.
I'm on the complete opposite spectrum. I think that guy's a fucking genius. He's killing it this year. I'm sorry.
I'm not high on
Hands Off Eizouken is by far one of the best shows this season in my opinion. It just keeps getting better. And he's got another thing coming out with Netflix at some point this year too. And yeah, Ride Your Wave was just fucking amazing.
It was a very good movie.
Couple of things. I think the way it deals with grief is really interesting. I really love the sister.
Yes.
She is best girl. God, I fucking loved her. She was so funny.
I love her bitchiness. She's great.
She was just very matter of fact. I don't know. She was kind of like the voice of reason, and that's why I really liked her. Also, okay, so towards the end of the movie, I really had to pee, and there's just water everywhere, just like in Weathering with You, and it was just torture, and it was awful. And that song will never leave your head. I swear to God,
it's very good.
It's still in there.
My buddy and I went to a bar
still
after
in there.
we were having some drinks, and we were just singing the song at the bar, and he's like, "Oh my God, this is gonna be in my head forever." I go, "Yep."
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. You're right.
Okay, so
I love the way it dealt with grief. I love how it ended. That one scene. I don't want to spoil it for people, but when she had her moment of catharsis, it was rather incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That actually got me. That
almost got me. The closest I was that
fucking broke me.
I actually kind of wish I didn't know anything about the movie going into it. I love the way it depicted an adult relationship. Anime doesn't do that often.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, for once.
And it's small things of small kisses on the beach, and the way that they held hands, or how she learned to eat chopsticks with her offhand so that they can eat and hold hands together. It's little things like that are really wonderful bits of characterization, and it makes you think oh wow, I've done something silly like that for a partner or whatever. And I thought it was
very much a depiction of how young adults picture love.
Yes. Almost rose tinted.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. I loved it.
Good job, I felt very seen and called out at the same time.
I feel seen yet called out. You also stop.
Pretty much. On to Violet Evergarden. Yeah, again, it was weird because I was sitting like kind of towards the front of the screen too, so I was like kind of like craning my neck trying to like look at the screen, and like that was really painful. But oh my god, this movie is, dude, KyoAni, okay, on a movie budget, holy shit.
You know, I didn't even look at it as something that was, I talked about this a little bit on Twitter, that their production of UFO Our Promise A Brand New Day, I thought was a departure from what the standard for films has been for them. It felt like a TV production extended for 2 hours outside of the concert scene, which they essentially did in season 2 of UFO, an equally as impressive concert bit. And it was disappointing. It was disappointing that I thought that at least during a movie we would get something special from them, and we didn't. And it might have been the SAT schedule, because that year I think they released 5 shows and 2 movies, including the Chunibyo movie. And Violet Evergarden was a return to form. As good as Violet Evergarden is as a television product, I mean, some of the stuff that they did with hair in the movie and the lighting was unreal. The city was so alive; it almost felt like it was animated on ones. Luna,
yeah, it was amazing.
I don't know about you, but when you know how KyoAni has like the little opener where it's like that kind of like the Earth and then the KyoAni logo at the bottom left. Like, I'm getting emotional thinking about it. Like, that's when I started crying, like the beginning of the movie, because
no, I'm not even kidding. Everyone in the theater just went, "Aww."
It hurts.
Like, there was like an audible like, "Aww."
You know, Chikai,
like in the entire theater.
Chikai,
it was great.
Came out, I think, a couple weeks before the fire happened. So we haven't gotten anything since Chikai. Violet was supposed to be the first thing released since, and I think I watched Amagi for the first time, but that wasn't a new work, and this was really the first new thing I got to watch from them, and it was, you know, especially because it was Fujita's debut, somebody who, you know, was able to survive, and we can see her young career. Like, I'm really emotional right now because, like, just how much that studio means to me personally, and all that work, and how Violet Evergarden's a story about love, essentially, and how these people love their craft, and every frame is drawn and animated with so much love that it was one of the most surreal experiences I've ever had.
Yeah, and it was interesting watching it in Japanese for like the first time since the first 3 episodes that I watched when the show first came out.
Oh, did you watch it dubbed?
I'm definitely.
You watched it so dubbed?
Yeah, then I mostly watched it dubbed. The movie though I watched completely in Japanese because that was all that was available. I imagine when it hits Netflix it will be dubbed, so I'm definitely gonna watch it again.
I honestly, dub movies are hit or miss just for me, just because it's hard for me to keep my attention. It's hard to like stay focused for me for that long. Like, subbed episodes are fine, like 24, 22 minutes.
Just turn on the closed captions.
Yeah, I'm saying it's hard for me to stay focused on reading it for that long, or following/reading it for an hour plus.
It was a pretty long movie, I'm not gonna lie.
For spectacles,
I'm glad I'm waiting for the dub.
For spectacles animation, I like that I watch Hiroaka dub. I mean, I love the Hiroaka dub, but that was one I got to really enjoy all the sakuga that I didn't have to focus on reading, because that production was I mean, the Hero production I felt was even a step above Violet Evergarden, which for me to say.
I would say it's definitely got. I mean, Bones on a movie budget is pretty great. They really animated the hell out of some scenes. There's a lot of sakuga moments, for sure.
I thought the character animation was the thing I was most impressed by, because that's not something that you really know Bones for, and they just did particularly with Bakugo and like the quieter moments of the film, like how they would depict him, just subtleties in his body language and stuff like that was just ultra impressive. And I mean, I think the final third of the movie is an entire like long sakuga reel, which is just like.
I liked how Bakugo got to have a little more, I guess, like screen time, but also just more dialogue and interactive stuff instead of just like his usual throwaway, shut up Deku, move over NPCs, whatever.
Now, I will say this is a Shonen Jump movie. It pretty much follows a very basic formula, which is it needs to be isolated from the original story as to not interfere with the original story, and then they will completely retcon the entire thing by the end, and it will probably be 90 minutes of fighting. However, if you watch it in a really crowded theater with a bunch of fans, you will have a good time.
I feel like you're saying that like it's a bad thing. I mean, like,
it is and it isn't.
No
why is it like? What
that.
are you? Are you watching Hiro Aka for some deep commentary of life? Like what? Watch Rakugo. Watch Rakugo Shinju. Watch Origami.
I mean, I literally just said. That being said, watch it in a theater with a bunch of your friends and a bunch of other fans, and you will have a really great time because that's what these movies are designed to do. Besides sell merchandise.
That's as good of a shonen movie as there can be. Like, I probably would pick that over any Dragon Ball movie. Like, that's...
I honestly would too, because it had solid everything. Story, fights, the new characters introduced were also like really well done.
One thing I actually have the biggest beef with is there was actually a lot of really amazing character development with Bakugo that just got completely fucking rendered useless by the end of the thing.
Why?
Because it can't interfere with the original story.
I mean, I think...
So it's like, oh, he and Deku do the fusion dance, and, like, that would have been huge. But it's like, nope, just kidding. He has amnesia. He doesn't remember. He's gonna go back. Like, their rivalry continues, and it's just like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Okay, here's the thing though with that. You have to think about where the movie takes place in relation.
No shit, that's what I just said.
Because there was a lot of stuff that was revealed. It's been revealed in the manga that if you're just following the anime, it will hit you like a freaking truck. Like that whole thing with the doctor.
Yeah.
Like that was like what 2 months back in the manga.
I'm not a manga reader, but my sister did tell me that.
It was like within this year.
There's stuff with Endeavor that he has, that would signify the end of a certain arc and certain character interactions that, you would pick up on if you're a manga reader.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and the doctor's name has officially been changed. It's been changed in the digital chapters, and it's been changed, I imagine, when it goes to print from here on out.
I didn't even know he had a name.
No spoilers,
so
please.
cool.
I am not a manga reader.
Because there was a controversy that he was connected to the war crimes and stuff like that. Anyway,
but
we don't have to talk.
It was
about
a great
that.
movie. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more than Weathering Into You.
I enjoyed it more than. Why are anime kids so adorable?
Did you?
Yeah, honest. I want to talk about the kids for a second. In the dub, that's actually sort of like means a lot to me personally because Danny Chambers and Maxie Whitehead played the kids.
That's
Alphonse.
who that was.
Yes, Alphonse. And I lost my shit when I heard them together because let me just tell you a bit of a story. Danny Chambers really got noticed with the Ancient Magus' Bride dub, and for me, and I had never heard of her before that, so I had seen the dub trailer for it before I saw the cast list. So my initial reaction upon hearing Chisei's voice was, "Oh, cool! Maxie Whitehead's playing the lead," and then I was surprised to see whoever this Danny Chambers person was to be playing her. And so then I love it when like voices get cast as twins, but ones you wouldn't really think of. So I lost, or not twins, but just family siblings. So I lost my mind when I heard Danny and Maxie playing siblings, and now you know why, because I mistook them for one another, and the rest is history.
I know that Tomoyo Kurosawa played the young girl in the sub, and if you know Moyo plays Kumiko in Hibike Euphonium, so I actually missed out on Moyo, but we're out here, man. Dub was great. I loved it.
Yeah. It was wonderful. Can we talk about how awesome Johnny
Oh
Young Bosch
my
was
God.
as the villain?
I knew it was
Johnny
him
Young
because
Bosch.
the whole time I was just like, is that JYB?
He was killing
I was
it.
like, I think it. Oh my God, he was
Killed
so
it
good.
in Promare.
He was so good.
Knocked it out of the fucking park in Promare.
I still haven't seen
Oh, it's
Promare.
really
I bought
good.
it.
Me
I bought
neither.
it.
Really?
It's coming in the mail.
That's really good. Yeah, he killed it in Promare.
Speaking of other movies that actually the reason I didn't get to see it is it came out during finals week and I had no time.
Always make time for Jet.
I know, but I pre-ordered it. I'm gonna watch the crap out of it the second it gets in my hands, because holy shit.
My copy of Lelouch of the Resurrection got in yesterday, so I'm very excited.
Noise.
Also great. Also, Johnny Young Bosch kills it in that movie. He was born to play Lelouch.
Yeah, he really
Born.
is.
Like, some people are put on this earth for a certain reason, and Johnny Young Bosch was put on this earth to play Lelouch, to play that twink. He's good at twinks.
He really.
He's also just good at like the happy-go-lucky guys. Like he will forever be immortalized to me as Vash the Stampede in Trigun.
Yeah, he's a good Vash. He's really good in Toradora.
Oh yeah, Glasses Coon.
I love JP.
He's also I like him in Black Clover as Zora.
Oh, he's in Black Clover. Damn.
Yeah, he's
Well,
Zora.
That wouldn't.
I like to call him Zora the Ash Hat.
That actually wouldn't surprise me because that show is so huge. Like they're gonna have to start kind of like branching out.
Oh, they have.
I imagine.
Chris George has already significantly diversified some of his cast.
What else? Oh, a couple of moments that got a ton of laughs in the theaters. The illusion spell Deku was effing hilarious.
You mean the mantis at the playground?
When the girl made the giant Deku to signal.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean.
That was so
Yes.
good. And then, poor, I think it's Kaminari.
Yes, when he said,
oh,
use
yeah.
that idiot
Where
as
he
a
just
lightning
like,
rod.
he
Yes.
electrocutes himself stupid. And he's just like, like,
Honestly, I thought it was kind of cool to see him sort of like power, like no pun intended, but power through that when they were trying to like restore the electrical grid. Like
oh my God.
we see what happens like when he overdoes it. We see him like get stupid, but we've never seen him go beyond the stupid and just keep going. Usually it's just like and then stops. But this time he actually kept going like further into the stupid pail.
Mm-hmm.
Uraraka was great in the movie. I'm not a big Uraraka fan, but
Oh,
she
yeah.
was fucking awesome. Loved her.
I love Uraraka.
I love Mina.
She is
Mina's-
the
Mina's-
best.
Mina's-
Uraraka is...
Mina's best girl.
Okay, not nearly enough utilization of Acid Girl, and that makes me really
And
sad.
just in general, like, we need more Mina. Like, this arc has good Mina, and I'm here for it. Like,
Yeah.
I love breakdancing Mina.
Yeah, like honestly, I will give me like breakdancing Mina all day,
All I
every
want,
day.
I
More
mean,
Mina content.
actually, my favorite girl is still Momo. But
Momo's
that's
great.
just me.
Jiro's great. Jiro had some good moments.
All the girls are
Everybody's
great.
That's a good thing about Hero. Everyone's good. Todoroki had his really
Oh,
corny
yes.
pun, and everyone laughed at it in the theater.
I know.
Somebody just goes, "That was so
Yeah.
lame," and I laughed. I was like, "It was lame." But that's
Oh, yeah,
Todoroki.
so
He's just a lame kid.
And
yeah,
I'm guessing Todoroki probably never even realized he had made a pun, like because he's just like that plain
He's
about
great
it.
on them.
oh yeah, I forgot to mention in the beginning of the movie, it kind of starts out like, I think it was
Really,
like,
just happy.
I think it was a
Fun,
Geico.
happy.
Okay, but like I think there was a Geico. I think it's a Geico commercial. I want to say it's a Geico commercial where like there's like a superhero and his mom keeps like calling him to be like,
Oh, yeah.
can you fix the disposal? Oh, can you like, like there's this thing that's really high on a shelf and I can't reach it. Just like
Oh yeah, like
trying to get
when
him.
you're a mom, you call it the worst possible time. It's what you do. And
Yeah,
the
yeah,
superhero was
exactly.
like fighting a bunch of bad guys or something. And
Yeah.
while mid phone call.
That's exactly what the first half reminded me of. But it was really sweet. But it was just like, oh my god, it's like that Geico commercial.
Bakugo's like, "I'm not doing it."
And
again.
Bakugo's just like,
I'll
no.
sit here and
goes like, "I'm manning the base. Go away."
Oh my god, the part with like the popsicle when he's,
That
like,
was so great.
Deku. That was so awesome. It was oh. I swear, if he and fucking Shima don't like ride off into the sunset together, I will flip a table.
Really, I just loved watching Sero do his thing in the movie, just like bouncing around like with his tape and stuff. He just looked like a kid in a candy store.
Zero, I actually gave him respect for. There's nothing more I like in shonen than when someone's kind of down and out and they have one last little burst. I think that's so cool. I love it. I'm a sucker for that. Zero had that. Rudaka had that. Everybody had a little bit of that. Momo had it.
Even fucking Mineta.
Yeah.
Even Mineta had some redeeming moments.
I would completely despise him if it weren't for Brina Palencia doing his voice. Because she is so fucking funny.
Yeah, I love Brina to death just for all her roles. And she makes Mineta just likable, not Minetable.
I think you just coined a new word.
The anime original content really tones down the Mineta-ness. Like, in the other movie, he wasn't even, like, that bad. And in this one, he doesn't really...
He didn't even have much of a part in the other movie. Like, it was the core group of
there, and like
of Class 1A. But yeah, he was there, but he wasn't, like, a part of it. Like, he was one of the people just, like, chilling in their hotel room.
They don't overplay. Like, he's not really a big part of the story either, but every time he's on screen, he does something deplorable. Which I think the anime original stuff has really cut down, especially the two movies.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I mean, they keep his, like, deplorable stuff for comedy, but they don't actually.
And they tone it down, like.
Cringy.
You know what I mean? It's him more. Most of the gags are him excited about girls, but not him actively doing anything creepy, which I think is kind of important.
Yeah. He's not going Pepe Le Pew as of late.
So, in the movies.
Yeah, for sure.
Though I do love, like whenever he is about to say or do something completely just ridiculously uncool, perverted, is the cutaway gag where one of the characters like grabs him and then suddenly like ties him in a bag and strings him up or something like that. Or
it's usually Suyu.
Suyu, yeah. Like she does that, and like in the newest like in one of the new episodes, she did that and then asked Sato to like, hey, help me tie this off. Okay.
I'll pretend to know what that is.
Luna's behind AF on the anime, so that's why she doesn't
like
get
at least a season and a half behind. However, I will say though, like you don't need any sort of anything to go into this movie. Like literally like the first 15 minutes is like an entire like recap almost. Like it doesn't matter. Like you can still go in and like enjoy the movie. Like you don't really have to follow the story at all. So
yeah, well, I'm glad they recap, because the first several minutes of it, like after like the villains get away, is them just like on this random island helping out people, and then Deku's like, oh yeah, here's how the fuck we got here. Let me explain that so we can get you up to speed. And then they brought it in. So I liked that they actually explained it, because I'm thinking, okay, I'm just gonna have to fill in a lot of blanks here otherwise.
I loved the movie. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was everything you wanted of a shonen. I thought the animation was stellar. I don't really care that they retconned it at the end. It's what
okay. Speaking of the end, we need to talk about it. Their Share Powers ET phone home. Let's
they did the
double
fusion
do
dance
this.
and
let's
Super
double
Saiyan.
do this moment.
Can we talk with spoilers or no?
Can we?
Yeah, we'll just give a warning. Like basically.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
They did the fusion dance. Bakugo and Midoriya did the fusion dance and went Super Saiyan, and it was honestly kind of awesome. And by kind of awesome, I mean extremely awesome.
Yeah, unexpected, and honestly, I figured they would somehow retcon it, but at the same time, I'm like, are they going to?
Horikoshi said the movie's canon.
But I just said, like, if Bakugo actually knew that Deku did that for him, oh my god.
He did. He agreed to it.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
but if he remembered.
And it was funny when he woke up and he was like, why the hell are my arms broken? What did you do to me?
Yeah. Because he had to agree to it, because one of the things necessary to pass on One for All is consent between both parties.
I know, but I'm saying if he had actually remembered that, though, that would have been huge.
All that movie told me is that All Might clearly made the wrong choice in who to give All for One to, because Jesus Christ is Bakugo broken.
Yeah, that's why Bakugo wasn't this. That's why they didn't go from blonde to blonde, because Bakugo would have just wrecked house.
Like when Night Eyes
for the rest of time.
saying in the Overhaul arc how Mirio was the one that he felt should have been the successor. After watching Mirio fight, I was like, well, no shit, he's fucking awesome. I go, he's so much better than Deku. What were you thinking, All Might?
Hey,
yeah, you should have gone.
All Might clearly made the wrong.
Because Deku has heart.
And Mirio and Bakugo don't.
And Mirio already had a quirk, and so did Bakugo.
Mirio literally fought
Deku
quirkless against the strongest villain thus far in the story. I guess is Overhaul stronger than All for One? I don't know, whatever. But Mirio fought quirkless against a really, really strong guy, and that's not heart. It's not heart, Luna. Is that not enough heart for you?
They're not the main character.
Well, Horikoshi fucked up.
So what? He was the main character for this.
Maybe Mirio should have been the main character. He has to get it
because he's the main character.
Maybe Mirio should have been the main character is what I'm saying. Okay?
Forget Bakugo, Deku, and Uraraka. I mean, we need Mirio and why am I blanking on their names
Sasuke
now?
And no, his name is Tamaki.
Yeah, we need Mirio, Tamaki, and Hado instead of the other three.
They're all good. I like the Sasuke kid. He's good.
Actually, Luna, going back to something to the ending part of the movie, didn't you say, like, you read somewhere or something that this movie was how Horikoshi had planned to end the manga?
That was
or
one
something?
of the ideas that he had.
Yeah, it was just an idea.
That would have been such a better
so
idea. Whatever he has planned is not going to be as good as that. I guarantee it.
I was just like half expecting like the movie to air and then him to go, okay, by the way, that's how the manga ends. See you in about 50 chapters.
Woo!
That would have been a doozy to drop.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of like non-anime movies really quick, I saw Birds of Prey, which has, because we live in a society, this really stupid comparison between it and Sonic has like come forth on social media, and it's really stupid.
They're completely different movies.
No, it's actually hilarious, but it's also like, oy.
I mean, yeah, really Amy has a hammer, but is she even in the Sonic movie? No.
I mean, okay, the thing with the Sonic movie, though, is it's very 90s. It's just weird, because, like, if that had come out in the 90s, nobody would have, like, blinked an eye. And, like, now it's like, oh, yeah, we used to make movies like this. There's a ton of...
If it came out in the 90s, people would have lost their shit because that CGI was way ahead of its time in the 90s.
Oh, it definitely would have been, like, a puppet or something. But anyway. There's a ton of zillennial, like, Gen Z humor in it. That some of it was just like, I am way too fucking old for this. Like, there's a part where, like, Sonic, like, literally, like, flosses at one point, and it's like, okay.
With all the rings, I'm surprised they didn't, like, put a ring on it.
Are we that
joke.
old that now we're not getting the new jokes? Is that what's happening right now?
I mean, for me... Oh, speaking of... Okay, so there's this fucking thing on Twitter that, like that I saw earlier this morning, and, like, it was, like, okay, like, it's... So this person's like, it's 2008, I'm 3, and I wake up, and then, like, someone quote tweeted it and goes, motherfucker, you are how old? And then everyone in the comments is like, oh, I was so old, I was like 8 years old, or like I was like 13, I was 17, and I'm just like,
People not living through
Bruh.
9/11 is like a weird thing for me. It's like, wait, what? Like there were people.
Yeah, it's like, wait.
Yeah, I was just like, bruh, I was in my 20s. Like, I am old as fuck.
You were in your 20s during 9/11?
No, in 2008.
Oh, I was gonna say. I was like, wait, what?
No. 9/11, I think I was like in middle school. I think like 8th or 9th grade,
Jesus.
somewhere around there.
No, you were out.
I was
in
8
3rd grade
when 9/11. I was 8 going on 9 when 9/11 happened.
I want to say
2008. I was 16.
Yeah, no, I want to say 2008. I was 22. Shit. Oh god, help me. Anyway, somewhere around there, either like 21 or 22, somewhere the fuck around there. Yeah, I was a junior in college. Anyway, no, 9/11. I want to say I was like in 8th grade because I was late for school and my dad was with me and I was at the front. We were at the front desk getting like one of those tardy slips or whatever. And then the vice principal, who I really hate, but that's not really relevant to the story. She just like burst through like the double doors that led to all the other offices or whatever, and she was like, "Oh my god," and like said like what had happened, and I was just like, "Huh?" Like what the fuck? But anyway.
Yeah, they wouldn't tell us what had happened. Like we knew something had happened because all the teachers were doing a bad job of trying not to freak out.
Oh, our teachers were just like, "So this is what happened."
Yeah, I was like in 4th grade, so they were a little more. They were far more coddling. They were just like, "Okay, we need you to stay indoors for recess today. Like recess day, it's like, why? We'll tell you later. You'll find out later." Like, okay. And then it wasn't until like we got home that we're like, "Wait, what? Oh,
yeah, because that was like, because my vice principal was literally just like, "Oh my god, 2 planes just crashed, blah blah blah." I was like, "Oh yeah, wait, no, way difference in age here. Never mind." Anyway.
I was in 4th grade. I might have actually I remember now, like, because when school was like later that day or something. This was before like anything got announced, and then I remember my mom was working at home that day, and she was like watching CNN in the living room, and you could see like this was before the towers fell. You could just see like smoke coming out of one.
The smoke coming out, yeah.
Yeah, I just like shrugged and said, "Oh," because to me it looked just like a news story, like, "Oh, some buildings on fire," probably. Like I'd seen fires in the news before, so I didn't really think too much of it. It wasn't until much later that I learned what that actually was.
On a slightly less
sad and more let's like go back to anime, that thing.
We're gonna take a really quick break and then we'll come back and talk about the show that I've been dying to talk about for a while. I know G's really excited. I know Matt's probably just gonna fake his enthusiasm, but we'll get there at some point.
Enjoyed it. It's not my favorite, but I enjoyed it.
Well, you're still in timeout. We'll be right back.
This episode is brought to you by Brews and the Boys. So, what's your favorite American football team? Did you say the Dallas Cowboys? If you didn't, you're wrong. And if you're still saying, well, Tim, no, they're not my favorite team, well, let me recommend that you listen to the Brews and the Boys podcast with Michael Sizemore and Tom Ryle of Blogging the Boys so that they can prove to you that your favorite team is indeed the Dallas Cowboys. Brews and the Boys is your friendly neighborhood podcast that's a lot like going down to your friendly neighborhood bar and watching and talking about the game with your friends. Every week, Michael and Tom give an in-depth analysis about what the Cowboys have done, what they're doing, their player stats, player analysis, everything under the sun that you need to know about the Dallas Cowboys you can find from Michael Sizemore and Tom Ryle every week on the Brews and the Boys podcast on Blogging the Boys and the Vox Media Podcast Network. For more information and episodes, head on over to brewsandtheboys.com. And now, back to the show.
my sister the Aniplex FMA set for Christmas. That shit was expensive.
Oh my god.
It's really nice though.
Anyway, I still have the Viridian collection of the original, but anyway.
Oh, before we start, really quick, did you watch Chihaya Furu today?
Yes!
I think that might have been the best episode of the series.
Oh, for sure.
That was so... when Taichi gave Arata that card, I literally clapped and jumped up, and I said, you're dirty! Did you ask Chihaya?
I'm gonna pretend I know what that
Dude,
means.
it was like peak ship angst, and it's like this massive love triangle.
Dude,
there's so much
like...
angst, and Taichi did the dirtiest, most angsty fucking thing he could. He's like, did you tell Chihaya something in the spring? And he's like, I did. And then he sent him her card, and I was like, yes. I'm sorry, I had a lot of feelings.
It's like, I read the manga and just you fucking wait. Holy crap.
I made a comment about like Chihaya having some sort of reckoning with Taichi's feelings and independence and how she's finally taking inventory of what he's doing, and someone goes, oh buddy, you're not ready for what's coming, and I go, I can't wait.
Yeah, dude, just you wait. The manga gets crazy. Anyway, speaking of teen romantic snafus, that is exactly what we're about to talk about. This is one of my favorite shows in terms of like romantic comedies and so forth. If you like really sarcastic, deadpan protagonists, two really cute girls, a bunch of characters with alliterative names for some reason, a really cute soundtrack.
I didn't get the alliteration. The soundtrack was really good.
I believe the novels are available from Yen Press, but do not quote me on that.
Not all of them.
Anyway,
they are.
They are, but they're not caught up.
Okay. Yeah, my teen romantic comedy is wrong as I expected, or Oregairu, or my teen romantic comedy Snafu, which was okay. So it was licensed by Sentai. It's streaming on both High Dive and Crunchyroll. Sentai just retroactively dubbed it, which is pretty cool. And first season was done by Brains Base. Second season was Studio Feel, who you may remember as doing shows like Hinamatsuri and...
Best comedy I've ever seen.
That was a good...
What did you say?
Hinamatsuri.
Did you say it wasn't good?
No, I said
think
I loved it.
that might be the...
No, it's like one of his favorite shows.
I was like, that might be the funniest show I've ever seen. Like, anime-wise.
Yeah, it was
not the
hilarious
funniest,
from
but
start to
it was
finish.
pretty fucking funny.
It's either that or Konosuba for me. That in terms of like.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Konosuba's hilarious.
So
Patrick Seitz's character was the best part about it. Why are you people blowing things up near my house?
Patrick Seitz sounds exactly like Travis Willingham, to the point that if they ever needed to replace Roy Mustang, Patrick Seitz is the only man on earth that can do it. I've had that take forever, and I'm glad I got to say it in a public forum.
Though Ian Sinclair is going to be replacing him on his like lower cooler registers, like in like how we replaced him in D Greyman. Like if when Oran gets a season 2, Ian's going to be why can I never remember his name?
Mori Senpai.
Mori Senpai, yes. Ian's going to be Mori Senpai, hands down. I will place money on it.
I wish I would finish the rest of that, but alas.
Oh, well.
I want them to, but they're gonna have to recast Tamaki.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
I have a solution for that, honestly, because
anymore.
there's a guy, I'm not going to say who, but there's an actor who sounds insanely close to Tamaki that honestly I would just cast him and put him under an alias, and people might not even know the difference.
Yeah, for sure.
From the
if it's who I think you're talking about, definitely.
Yeah, I've told you about him before.
Yeah. Definitely, they should totally do that.
Jan, I'll DM you the guy later.
Yeah. So anyway, Snafu is basically it was a 2013 anime adaptation of the light novel series by Wataru Watari. Yes, his name is alliterative. Yes, every other character in the show has an alliterative name. It's just a thing. Go with it. So, the show set centers around everyone's favorite antisocial misanthropic jerk, Hachiman Hikigaya, who I adore. He's awkward around people, prefers to not interact with them in general. But, however, his teacher, Shizuka, sort of, like, strong arms him into joining the service club in order to get him to, like, open up more. And fun fact, a cute little sticker is like added to like the club's like door sign thing, like each episode, which I think is really cute. So yeah, club president is Yukinoshita. She's
really the two girls in this I just think had really lazy parents. Like, what do we name her? I don't know. Just take the first part of our last name and make it their first name. Okay, screw it. Birth certificate signed, done. Hello, Yui Yuigahama and Yukino Yukinoshita. Because we have zero creativity.
Well, the author is Wataru Watari.
I'm guessing he's following she is following his parents' example. Her parents' example.
Oh,
he.
Well,
she?
Actually, it's just a pen name. That's not his actual name. But anyway.
Parent example.
The point is, I fucking love this show. It's hilarious. There is quite the debate on who is best girl.
Who's your best girl?
But I was gonna say we'll get into
Yui.
that, but
it's Yui.
A lot of people want to say Yui.
I'm a lot of people.
I am the outlier.
You go Yukino?
Oh, hell yeah. All day, every day.
I'm tied. They're both co-best girls. I can't decide. I like them both the same.
Yukino is... I just love her. I love her so fucking much.
They're both, like, not just incredible characters, but, like, I love them equally, like, as people. And I think as characters, I think they're equally well written. I love how... I did a video on Snafu. I think it was, like, my second or third video. And how every character has a mask and every character carries a facade, and a lot of the show is them breaking down these facades in order to fit into their high school society and to be the real them, to find what is genuine.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think the way that Yui gets approached is most interesting, because I think Yukino is a pretty standard of I have to put up a front for my family and XYZ, and I'm actually I'm a little needy even though I can't show weakness and stuff like that. Yui is really interesting in how she's selfish in her unselfishness, how she wants everything and wants to give up nothing, and really is self-aware about these kinds of things, how she's the dumb bimbo but is so acute to everything, right? And she loves both Yukino and Hachiman very, very much, and
she's very much like, she may not be intellectually like smart or whatever, but she's very attuned to people's feelings.
Yeah, that's sort of what I like about her. She's not afraid to like sort of broach subjects with people, and at the same time is really she's like a happy empath, kind of like just always bubbly, but at the same time can tell what people mean and what they feel, and just by like simple words and body language she can read the room better than anyone. Which
I think is important because Yukino and Hachiman don't really have that kind of practical sociability. I don't know what you want to call it, but they're not
social skills.
I tried to find a fancy word for social skills, but and she's good at that, and she connects with people in a way that Hachiman and Yukino don't, because they're so isolated and they almost kind of look down on people. I know Yukino does a lot, and Hachiman, a lot of his character arc is kind of looking down on people less and less as he goes on. Yui, in particular, I think at the start of the series, both Yukino and Hachiman look down on Yui, and Yui's constantly looking up at everybody. And I think kind of that bridging of the gap is what makes the show so special.
Yukinoshita needs like an external reason to do anything.
I think she's incredibly self-motivated. I kind of disagree with that.
No, I just mean like she needs an external reason to do practically anything because of her family, because of what they put her through.
Well, I mean, or she also can just she can use her own personal feelings about something as like her external reason, or like just being tired of something or wanting to get out, like in that inter school student council meeting.
Oh God, the hands
She
guy.
was- Yeah, like the meeting of the tools. She was just tired of like all the jargony bullshit like the rest of us, and was just like, okay, I'm cutting to the chase here. You're an idiot. You make no sense. Here's what we're doing. Here's what you wanted to say. Let's actually do this now, okay?
For those of you listening, I am doing the gestures that hands guy does.
Love hands guy.
Because that part fucking cracks me up so much.
I've been around people like Hands Guy and those guys, and they just make me want to bash my head into a wall.
Very relatable.
I could feel exactly like how just this is like stupid and pointless. We're getting nothing done. Kind of irritation they were going through there. Just like, oh my God, just say something productive.
Oh my God! And then his little sidekick that's like, you tell him, and I wanted to punch her.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for like having a hype man, but sit down, honey. Not the time or place.
Poor Ishiki though.
She's very good.
I love her.
She's incredible. Not in my best girl conversation.
I'm not just saying that because I think she's voiced by Lucy Christian, but
I've not yet seen the dub.
Oh, the dub is actually really good.
Actually.
I
watched it for this.
I don't know if I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna rewatch it before the season comes out, which I should probably start doing soon. But
yeah, season 3 is coming out very soon. I am so fucking excited.
I don't know if I should rewatch it subbed or if I should give the dub a go. Maybe I'll see.
Definitely give it a few episodes.
Maybe I'll see season 1.
It's not bad.
Season 1's the funny stuff, though. I don't know if the jokes are gonna land in English the way they do in Japanese.
No,
they sort of do. I mean, I can tell when they were trying to make jokes.
I'm gonna give it a shot.
And Hachimon is played by Adam Gibbs, which I completely called that from day one.
I always thought Jesse Eisenberg would be a great Hachimon. Not that he's a voice actor, but like he'd be the perfect Hachimon.
Yeah, I can see that.
I guess.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark.
Like Zombieland / that Facebook movie.
He's just great at kind of being awkward and inner monologue-y and kind of being antisocial. Like he's really, really good at that. And to play Hachimon's really smart. So you got to really be able to sell like I'm smart, but I'm also awkward. And Jesse Eisenberg is really, really good at that. That's like his special skill. Yeah.
Agreed.
I have not been this excited for another season. I don't think since UFO. I think since they announced a UFO season 2, I don't think any other show has gotten me more excited. I'm more excited for this than more Starlight. I'm more excited for this than Steins Gate Zero.
Wait! Stop! Back up! What?
What?
Starlight?
We're getting a Starlight.
Oh, the movie. I thought you meant second season. I was like, what?
We're getting more Starlight. We're getting more UFO. It's also exciting. But yeah, Snafu is
UFO movie or UFO show?
Know, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm excited for the upcoming third season of Star Blazers Yamato 2205. That's my sequel excitement. Yeah, I freaking loved the new Star Blazers. 2199 and 2202. I could not get enough of them. And then now I think like sometime in the second half of the year, I want to say the winter season, they're coming out with Yamato 2205 and a new voyage or something. It's almost the title is somewhat almost sounds like it could be an infringement of Star Wars, but isn't. Like a new journey, a new voyage, almost like a new hope or something. But yeah, I'm excited for that.
I haven't seen it yet.
I highly recommend it. It's 52 episodes of pure just action feelsy awesomeness.
I gotta watch Legend of the Galactic Heroes first. That's the next space thing I watch has to be. And I also want to watch Diebuster and Gunbuster. I got a lot to watch.
I would watch Gunbuster and Diebuster first because they're fucking.
I just hear I couldn't watch. I mean,
although
I've been wanting to watch.
Although you're not a big Trigger fan, and that's kind of where they get their shtick.
I'm not. I did like Promare, and I did like. I really, really liked Gridman. So.
Gridman was awesome. For Space, have you seen Space Dandy?
That doesn't really. That's not really my thing, though.
Okay. I
didn't really like Bebop either, so.
Okay, this episode is over.
I'm famous for my.
I thought I was gonna have to fire Matt because he wasn't into Snafu.
You didn't know that I think Bebop is boring? That's like top 5 worst takes.
Okay, but dude, like, first of all, the first 3 episodes probably.
No, like
but
the
like
latter.
Battle of Fallen Angels, man, that's where it kicks off. That's the best fucking episode in the whole goddamn
There's
show.
so many episodes that are snooze fests.
Episode 20, Pierre LeFou is one of the finest pieces of animation I have ever seen, especially with its sound.
Okay,
especially with its sound design. It was genius.
I know. Like, it's just, I could go on and on. Like, that and, like, Ballad of Fallen Angels, holy fucking fuck.
Pierre LeFou is one of the first few anime I ever saw, so that holds a huge place in my heart, and getting to rewatch it, like, as an adult was just, like, chicken soup for my soul.
I'm not a big Bebop guy. I'm not really a big space guy. I'm not a big robots guy either. But I like to give him a try.
Yeah, you said you liked Gridman.
But it's the least
actually
triggery show.
The one show about space I think everyone should fucking watch is Planets. See, no, like, I'm serious. I'm serious. Holy shit.
Does it have?
It's about garbage men in space.
Idols?
And it's fucking incredible. Like, no, like, I'm not even kidding. Like, this is a real job. It's based on a real job. It's extremely dangerous. That show is incredible. Planets. I cannot recommend it enough. Holy fuck. Anyway, back to Snafu.
Yeah. That was quite the tangent.
I think their first official client is the Chunibyo guy. In the dub, he's voiced by Andrew Love. So he tries to write this, like, light novel, and it's like 50,000 pages long, and it sucks. And they're all, like, trying to be nice about it, but except for Hachiman, and yeah, it's just great. They're just like, wait, you didn't read it either, or like you hated it too, or just like, it's I love it. I love that whole exchange.
The first half of the show is really kind of club shenanigans and kind of, I think the dichotomy. I think Replay Value did a really good video on kind of the dichotomy between the first and the second half of the show, and how the visuals and how Brain Space and Studio feel, how the change in visuals really reflects the kind of narrative tone of the story. First half is incredible, and it really sets up the stage for kind of our characters' flaws. How Yui is like fake nice, and how Hachiman is a cynical asshole, and how Yukino looks down on others, and how she can't accept help. And I think the first 12 episodes do a great job of really building that, and then the latter half takes our characters and completely peels it and rips them to shreds. Wataru puts them through the fucking blender, through suffering.
I want to say, like, the last 4 episodes especially.
Like, it's some of my favorite characterization in any media, especially anime. I think it might. I said for a while that it might be my favorite cast in anime ever, and that includes UFO. And for me to say that, like, you know how serious I must be. It's just next level, and I'm so excited because it was a story that season 2 really ended on a cliffhanger, but it had established so much in that season. It had really set up the stage for our characters are at rock fucking bottom. They know what they want. They know what they want out of life. Well, they just don't know how to get there.
There's a couple of options at this point. It's like, hang on, I gotta look at my notes here. Okay, so this is also kind of paraphrased from some Reddit forums that I was like digging through. That's how old this show is. These are from 2014. But essentially it's like, okay, so Yuki Noshida has a lot of trouble identifying what she even wants. Hikigaya is incredibly self-sufficient, and Yui Gahama is like very perceptive to all of this. So basically, she's kind of caught between like a rock and a hard place because she loves Hiki, but she can also see that Hiki might also kind of like Yukino, and Yukino probably likes him too. And so it's kind of like, she wants to be friends with all of them, but she's also liked Hiki for a very long time. So then the question becomes like, essentially, like, how can Yuigahama gain what she wants the most, which is a romantic relationship with Hiki without destroying their current social dynamic. Well, no matter what happens, something's gonna have to give. Which is what we saw earlier with Tolbe and Ebina, and I think she also feels guilty about taking advantage of the situation in general.
I think that
honestly, that dynamic reminded me a lot of the end of the Haganai.
I was gonna say, are you gonna say Haganai?
Yeah, because that's exactly how it was with Senna and Kotaka and I can't remember.
No, you're thinking
Whitney
of
Rogers' character.
Yeah, it's God, I haven't seen Haganai forever. 1 second.
Black-haired one.
Yeah, one second. Keep talking.
I love how you have notes.
Anyway, like Senna actually says she loves him, and then Kotaka feels the same, but knows that if he actually says that and accepts her feelings, the club and the friends that he's worked so hard to build would come crashing down, because the friendship there was like, it was real, but at the same time it was fragile, because a lot of the people everyone in the club had some kind of interest in Kotaka, so if he chose a side, everyone else would fall away. That's sort of like, and that's the same here, just with fewer people.
I will say Yui's voice in the dub is far less annoying than it is in the Japanese.
Their voice is not annoying in the Japanese. How dare you?
I don't know why.
It is extremely annoying in the Japanese.
You guys are the worst.
Started.
Thank you. No, I'm sorry. Like, I usually have I don't know what it is. This is completely like this is entirely just me. I don't know what it is, but the timbre of her voice just reached a certain, I don't know, frequency that just really set me off. I don't know why, but she is so much more tolerable in the dub. She's so much more tolerable in the dub.
It didn't like irk me that way, but I've known characters whose voice in one version is far more likable than their voice in the other, and it really does change your perspective of them.
I don't know what it is. She just came across a lot more real in the dub, but that's just me.
I'll have to give it a watch.
Probably because of her not annoying voice. But anyway.
Sorry, dude.
I don't know what it is, man.
Slander, you know what I mean? It's here as a guest, and it really hurts my feelings that we're slandering Yui. She deserves the best.
We love Yui. We just wish she had a better Seiyu.
Something
voice,
I've always
not to knock the Seiyu herself.
Yeah. One of the things I really, really enjoyed about the show is how they kind of did the love triangle, and how all three of the characters just genuinely love each other, and there's a genuine affection that is so real and tangible, to the point that I actually think that Yui and Yukino may love each other more than they love Hachiman. It's just a different way.
We'll have to see how that pans out.
It feels very White
season.
Album. White Album too. Kind of.
Oh God! Don't get me started.
It really
on
reminded me,
Album.
like in terms of just the three have a lot of loving. I mean, it's not. I hope it doesn't end that way, but how.
For sure.
How the three have a very
God.
Like, there's just genuine love. Chihaya Furu's like that too, between Taichi, Arata.
I don't think anything can end as bad as White Album. Well, except for maybe School Days, but that's a whole other. That's a whole other can of worms.
Let's avoid that like the plague. Let's avoid that like the coronavirus now. I was telling Luna this idea I sort of had, where in the end a lot, or in the end, Yuigahama's saying a lot. I want us to be together. I want us to be together forever and stay this way. And honestly, it almost felt like she was pushing for polyamory, just like, because you could tell how much they loved each other, yet at the same time that love was for multiple people, so I almost got a polyamorous vibe from it.
You know, I think I did too. I mean, I didn't think that, like, actually that's what was intended. I kind of thought so for meme purposes. I think a part of me realizes that when I kind of look at the pairings and how this could end, I do think that part of it is, I think the traditional story would say that he and Yukino end up together. Mm-hmm. However, I think that Yui might be the one that's best for him because they balance each other out better. But Yukino also has that, like, you know, she asks him, like, please save me. Like, I need you. Which I think that falls into other territory in terms of, like, you know, male savior type stuff in romance that happens in anime a lot. But I do kind of think that out of everyone that does it, Monogatari does it the best. And then this is, you know, like, pretty, they depict it really well because I think that her struggles are really laid out and she can't do it alone. And I think that just her asking for help in and of itself is huge. I love that scene when they're on the ride and she opens up about her sister and everything, and then kind of right before it Splash Mountains, how his world literally flips sideways as they plummet when she tells him, like, please save me. Like, I thought that was just really incredible.
I thought that was a good metaphor.
Incredible. I mean, Studio Field did
that part got me, not gonna lie,
as good a job as anybody could.
Yeah.
Also, the part where Yui runs away, I think it's Yui. Shit. At the fucking bonfire.
At which bonfire?
It just...
With the,
I think it's
the Splash Mountain scene,
I think it's like episode
I really
8 or
liked...
9. Sorry.
With the Splash Mountain scene, what I really liked, was with the, like, the save me part, but at the same time, I just loved, like, the contrast between what was being said and the location, because they're at an amusement park on a roller coaster, water log ride. They should be having, like, a fun time, and yet here they are having, like, this deep, somber, real conversation. Like, it's... Imagine, like, going on Splash Mountain with your best friend, and then right before they take the picture, that your friend turns to you and says, by the way, I have 3 months to live. It's like, you're supposed to be having fun, but at the same time, what?
This is also, like...
I definitely have breast cancer.
Really the first time they got to be alone together and have a conversation.
Shout out to the room.
It's, you know, and I thought that was kind of done really well in how she and Yui did not approve of his really masochistic ways and how he really fell on the sword and how that really fractured their relationship because of how much they cared, and then that became other stuff and how they didn't trust each other and how that was really their first time that they've been able to be alone and open up to each other again. And it was, I think we've all had moments like that with people that we really love and care about, that when we're repairing a fractured relationship, we always wonder, when is it okay to start opening up again? And to me, that was, like, really reminiscent of relationships and, like, friendships that I've had. And I saw that as just, like, a very organic and real way that happened. You have your big, something genuine scene, right? And then you don't really get another intimate moment like that again. And then when you finally get it, it's like, it happens so organically and wonderfully. And it just says a lot to both of them and how much they care about each other.
It was really cathartic, like, that scene, because they were actually able to open up completely, have a full conversation without anyone butting in as a gag to lighten the mood or change the scene or something. Like, there weren't any friends or family members to interrupt saying, hey guys, what you talking about here, and then just completely kill the moment. They actually got to flesh that out and actually go somewhere with it and not just, like, scratch the surface where they would otherwise.
Something I also really like in kind of playing into that is how they handle Hayama. And they could have easily done similar stuff with that when he has moments with Hachiman.
Oh my god, the Hayato bits.
They do a great job of kind of contrasting Hachiman's kind of gremlinness to the It Boy, right? And how they're both...
Oh, but that part where he says, I'm not as good as you think I am.
It's amazing because it's like he's almost
And
jealous.
then Hiki's like, wait, what?
He's almost.
I like. Sorry, I like the scene. I think it was at the sports festival where they're running together, and Hachiman's keeping pace with him, and he's like, "Why are you doing this?" Like, and he was just like, "'Cause we're friends, and friends stay together or whatever." And it was just like, I liked the dedication there, and just the surprise, one, that Hachiman was athletic enough to keep pace, and two, that they could actually share a semi-somber moment there.
Hayama has almost this jealousy for Hachiman because Hayama almost has to fake it and maintain this kind of illusion of status quo to fit into society. And Hachiman doesn't, but as a result, Hachiman is punished. And he doesn't fit into society. So they're both outside of like this general institution of what they really want, except one of them's lying to himself and the other one's hurting himself.
Really quick, can we talk about Saika?
Yes.
She the blonde one I'm blanking.
No, he's the guy.
Oh,
He's
that
great.
guy. Okay.
He's the guy that Hachiman may or may not have a crush.
My favorite is when he says, "Would you make me miso soup every morning?" And then he goes, "What?" And then Hachiman's like, "What?"
Yeah, exactly.
That part's great. I love his enamorment with him. It's really wonderful because it's incredibly genuine.
Exactly.
Like how he's like, wow, like I am attracted to him like a lot, and like I'm very nervous around him. Like he, for all like the loser and gremlin that he is, I mean, he has like really pretty friends that he got. Like you and Yukino are gorgeous, popular people, and he's just totally like not frozen by them. But this guy is just completely enamored with him. It's great.
And then like when they're getting food in this cafe, and he's like, "Oh my god, it's just so hot in here," and he's just like,
Incredible.
"This is gonna get really awkward really fast."
This is great. I love it.
But no, it's just cute, especially when he's just like, "Hachiman, I think you're really cool," and he's just like, "Wait, what?"
We stand a bisexual.
It's just it's such a sweet moment though, because he's like, "No, not in a weird way. Like you're just cool. Like I genuinely like you." And I was just like, "Oh, like we need more friends like Saika."
It's nice because
Yeah, I like that moment. It was just like it was just really genuine. It wasn't meant to be like awkward, even though Hachiman sort of took it that way. It was just like a genuine friendly like admiration compliment that, yeah, I mean, they intentionally had him take it the wrong way just for a laugh, but at the same time it was like, I don't want to throw around toxic masculinity like easily, but at the same time, like, guys complimenting each other is not something you see very often, so it was refreshing to actually like see a guy be open toward another guy in like a non-romantic way, just like any normal conversation. It felt like
Hachiman,
healthy.
to your point, Hachiman does like a lot of dispelling of kind of toxic masculinity in a way that I think is really interesting that doesn't get done in anime a lot. Like I think in the OVA, when he's talking about he wants to be a stay-at-home dad, like he's just
so
like
cute.
totally reversing the terms. Like no, I don't need to be a provider or anything. I just want to be lazy and stay at home. You know, and it's kind of funny how that gets framed and just how he's just totally like the antithesis of masculinity, and Hayama is the symbol of masculinity, kind of to counterbalance him. Like he's just like he's a pank. You know, it's funny. It's great. He's like he can't run. He's not athletic. It's just wonderful.
Also, his sister.
Komachi's wonderful. Her little shark tooth.
She is a treat.
She's my third.
Hilary Haig plays her in the dub and just does it beautifully.
Yeah.
She's incredible.
I just love how he just like doesn't take the bait, and he's just like, nope, I'm not that kind of protagonist.
My sister and I love how it's
Yeah.
a genuinely healthy and good brother-sister relationship. How they genuinely love and care. Like he asks, like they have fights, and he asks for advice, and the way that they make up is really much like my sister and I make up. It's like almost like a half apology because you're too embarrassed to actually apologize, but then your sibling's there for you, and it's really great, and it could have gone the light novel route that it just never did.
And buying stuff always helps to mend gaps.
I like how he lets her he's like outside when she's about to go to take her exam, how she's a homie and she's like trying to like keep him and Yukino alone, like, you know, it's great.
Oh, oh my god, when they go shopping and she's like, oh wait, I have to go do something, bye. Homie. And she's like trying to be like a wingman, and he's just like, what are you doing?
Homie.
And it's like, you are so fucking stupid.
Yeah, that
like,
scene was
like,
just hilarious
like,
yet
tragic. You love me? And he's like, I love you, sis. And she's like, well, I don't really feel that way.
It's great.
I'm just like, oh my god.
I love Sensei.
Like, as soon as she realized that he wasn't picking up on what she was trying to do, she was like, screw it, I'm just gonna bust his balls now. Just, tell me you love me. I love you. Yeah, I don't feel the same way.
She's incredible.
Oh my god, the fucking
She's
teacher.
great.
Sensei's great.
Shizuka.
I love her. She's incredible.
I love how she's just like, I just want to get married. 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 What do you want?
I like two scenes of hers in particular. One is at the end of season 1 when she tells Hachiman that you don't always have to get hurt to do stuff like this. Like, you don't have to put yourself through that. And it's her being...
That was the car scene, wasn't it?
That was at the end of the festival when she kind of takes inventory of how he had to become the bad guy in order to solve this problem.
Okay,
that's where the 8-man Batman memes were born.
Yeah.
But I just genuinely love how she's like the first person to really see and recognize this and see like, hey, like, you're going down like a dangerous path where you might lose people because now you have people that love you and you didn't have that before. And that was like incredible for her to recognize that and tell him. And then the other was the car scene where that's just it's almost Ava-esque, where she's talking about, you know, hedgehog theory and all that, and how I really liked when he kind of recognizes of like, and I get like how they don't go down the path like other light novels do, where he's like, man, if I had been born later, like I would have fallen for her, which is, I thought was a really great recognition of just like, I don't know, kind of how he really looks up to his teacher, and not in a weird way, because like he doesn't really take it that way, but like he's like genuinely admires this person and cares about her, and she cares about him in a way that's good. I love it.
And then I also like that part just because the teacher is like just like her loneliness is sort of used as like a comedy stick, but at the same time is also like a genuine like pain and problem she feels. So I sort of like that, even though they know they can't date, that there's like that she has someone who admires her and cares for her and looks up to her.
That's, like she's great, and like I know that she like it's hard when you have to balance a cast that huge, but every character has these moments and it has their characterization, and the main three obviously has incredible writing, but then when you add Hayama, Sensei, Komachi, you know, everybody, Iroha, everybody gets their moments to be human, and it's such a real cast and it's such a real world that by the time we get to the aquarium episode, how all these people have had such a pronounced impact on their life, and they all played a role in them realizing what they need, and how the series culminates in that final request, which we're going to get the answer to in a couple months. I mean, it's just, as someone who loved, no, it's gonna end. Like this is gonna adapt the final light novels, because the light novels are done and this is it.
Okay, good.
It's great when you follow a series that you love for this long and you've analyzed it, and it's obviously very near and dear to my heart, and that we're gonna get a fitting right conclusion. It's just incredible.
And that rarely ever happens.
Rarely. Like in anime, do we rarely, especially nowadays when stuff gets adapted and never finished, or there's always some weird sequel like material, or the fact that we're getting a UFO ending is like mind-blowing to me, that we're going to get a right conclusion to that story, that we're getting a story conclusion to this. It's like,
I don't know when, because like obviously KyoAni has to deal with a lot of their shit.
The novels are done. So, and they have committed to adapting them. So,
yeah, for sure.
And I know that specifically, UFO holds a really important place to them, because it's set in Uji, where their studio is. and that's a big reason why that they're so invested in that project. That's the commute that the animators take. Ujibashi Bridge is something that's very familiar to them, and that's why they draw on location and stuff. It's really cool. I'm sorry I had to UFO this up.
No, it's totally fine. Any other notes on Snafu before we wrap up?
It's probably the first and only anime to indirectly have the F word in its title.
Yes?
Snafu stands for situation normal all fucked up.
I'm curious as to how the show title is going to play into the ending.
Well, that was mostly on like the localization, because I think the original English translation is like "My teen romantic comedy is wrong," as is expected. Wow.
Which is why I'm wondering, where does it go wrong? What's gonna, like? I don't think we're gonna get a traditional ending of he's gonna end up with one of the something funky is gonna happen. I don't know what. I've theorized at points that Yukino and Yui end up together. I've theorized so many things as how this goes weird for him.
What if he ended up with Saika?
People say that's a good ending.
What if he ends up with the blonde girl, the
Yumiko.
one who was always hot for the other blonde guy? Yeah, Yumiko. What if they end up together?
What a see you next Tuesday.
You know, she's a really underrated character, and not that she has like a ton of characterization, but like what she means to the story of like how she's almost symbolic of this prototypical high school person that they're all trying to not be. Like Hayama gets really fleshed out, and you can see kind of the facade and the farce and who he is, but her, you know, she's really like a victim of this like almost system of like teenage society, if you will. Almost Mean Girls-esque.
Yeah, she was definitely in there to sort of be the heel, just like nothing really to majorly like about her.
Like, but you see where she's like, you see kind of the fragility of their group and how it's kind of held up by not lies but facades. So it's not real. Like what they have is friendship, but it's not anything strong or anything cemented, which is what at the end of the day everybody really wants. It's great. I love that show. I could talk about it for hours. It's one of my top 5 favorite shows. Is it my top 5? It's probably my top 6, but
somewhere in there. I would say it's definitely in my top something.
I mean, I guess UFO, Starlight, Fate Zero, Steins Gate, Code Geass, Brotherhood, Rakugo, and Snafu, yeah.
I'm in the minority here. I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. I mean, I didn't dislike it. I don't regret watching it. I had a good time watching it, but at the same time, it didn't grab me and
is it
pull
too
me
monologue-y?
In the way it did you guys.
Because I could see like that being an issue for some people. Like,
no, it
could be very monologue-y.
It's not too monologue-y. I'm used to like monologue-y shows because like I've watched like other rom-coms like that, like with like Haganai, so I was sort of used to monologue-y from that. It's just like it's a little too dry for my taste. Just a little, I guess I don't want to say satirical, but just like a little too dry, a little too light on the comedy. I mean, it's more of like a little more drama than comedy.
Did you enjoy season 1 more? Because I think season 1 kind of leaned into the comedy.
I think so. Yeah, Luna warned me when I was on like episode 10 or 11. Heads up, season 2 is where it gets more emotional, and it definitely did. But at the same time, I didn't really feel a huge
shift.
Like shift. Yeah, like it wasn't like, oh, this just went from completely nothing but jokes and gags to serious. It wasn't.
Would you have liked it more if you went in not expecting a rom-com? Would you maybe like if your expectations were a little different?
Possibly.
It's fair. Like you're valid in your opinion. I'm just kind of wondering if it's kind of a subversion of expectation or.
I'm just kidding.
I think it might be a little bit. Just I was just based on like what I read and what like on the little synopses and just the name and stuff, I guess I was expecting a little bit more comedy. I could sort of tell that it wasn't just going to be like just a bunch of
it's not an Adam
laughs
Sandler
and
movie.
gags from not an Adam Sandler movie, just from like the first episode. Like you could tell it's going to be okay. This is going to be sort of dry, kind of subtle, maybe satirical humor, not like a bunch of pies in the face.
Did you like Toradora?
I have not seen Toradora.
Yeah, because like I always think of this and Toradora as like really similar, although Toradora really leans into more of the comedy / melodrama. And this kind of leans in more into like the character introspection, but similar premises of characterizations. Yeah, I love Toradora too. Like Toradora is like one of my 10 favorite shows. So
I know Toradora is on Luna's long list of shows we need to do because they're awesome or I haven't seen them.
It's great.
Yeah, there's a lot of anime.
You'd enjoy Toradora more than Snafu, I think, because it's a lot more into the comedy and.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's also great. It's Okada's best work.
Plus, there's actually like a payoff.
I know it's on Netflix.
Is
you
it?
hit that up.
It's a great dub. It's one of my favorite dubs.
If not,
I might be thinking of Durarara.
If not, it's definitely on Crunchyroll.
My basketball team won. Raptors, let's.
Yay!
I thought you were like cheering that. Yay! It's on
no,
Crunchyroll.
I've just learned to accept that whenever he's cheering, it has nothing to do with anything I'm saying.
Yeah, I have Raptors. Kyle Lowry's about to hit a 3, not the dagger. They're still up 7. We're looking good, guys. We're looking good. 30 seconds left. I'm happy. I'm a pleased guy. I really like the Toronto Raptors. Don't ask why I like them. I just do. I didn't grow up liking them. They're just my second team.
So we got kind of sidetracked, but that's our show.
Massively sidetracked.
Thank you so much for listening. Let's see. When we come back, Matt and I'm taking Matt down to Ranipur with me, and if you know what that means, then get excited. So
I watched one too many Black Betty AMVs, and now I got too curious, and so I'm binging it, or as close to binging it as possible.
Black Lagoon, sweetie.
No, I'm talking about the song Black Betty. I saw some Bam-a-lam. Yeah, there's some kick-ass AMVs with Black Lagoon set to Black Betty.
Dude,
you should check out.
Look up the version by Spiderbait, because
that's the one I'm talking about. Spiderbait.
They're an Australian band, but anyway, you can please. Okay, so follow the show at Dubterfuge on Twitter and Facebook. I am at Lunatic, which is capital L, 3 O's, NAHTIC on Twitter and Instagram.
I am at Matthew H. Voss on Twitter. It's much easier to spell and remember than my co-hosts here. The Instagram I never use is Vomahanu, VOMAHANEW. Thank you, Jan, for guesting with us.
Yeah, shout out to Giancarlo.
Plug your socials, please.
You can find me at Subtitled Anime, one word, and you can find me at Subtitled Anime on Twitter, that's the one word, and then on YouTube, just Subtitled Anime. Check out my videos. I only released one video last year, but this year I told myself I was going to do 8. I have one working on about Fire Emblem and about Code Geass that I'm really excited for. So check those out. Hopefully they'll drop soon, and I have something on Heaven's Feel in the works as well.
Oh boy.
Dubterfuge is a production of Shui Media. The show is hosted and was created by Stella Luna and Matt Voss. The show is produced and edited by Tim Philippi. The show's theme song is by Stella Luna and arranged by Timmy Two Step. For more information, visit dubterfuge.com.